Okay, you are going to, in this one, I'm just going to show you some things in case you needed to have a reminder. Maybe you're in the session yesterday, or you weren't in the session, and maybe you can benefit. I have a link to this document just so you can kind of look at one way to use Google Docs as a kind of a container to hold your entire lesson. So as I stated before, you want your lesson to have a beginning, middle, and an end. Even if it does continue in future days, think of it as a chunk or a part one. So we want our students not to be confused. They're not used to this type of learning. So they're going to, in this situation, this is not a real lesson, just so you know. I called this Unit 1, Language as a Tool, and I do have a beginning. You can see up here I have the learning statement as to what is expected of the student, what they're going to learn. You can see that I kind of get them engaged here at the beginning. I ask them to read a thing, and it talks about the whole thing's about happiness. So it talks about how many people suffer from depression. So I'm trying to get them to think of this idea and happiness, and then I pose a question to them: what makes you happy? And I have them kind of thinking about that. And still kind of in the intro, I'm asking them to respond. Now, every student is going to have a copy of this, their own copy, and it's going to be rolled out through Google Classroom. I'll show you that on a future, actually, I'll probably show it at the end of this one. So you can see here they're able to type. They could start answering this. So, I could say pizza or whatnot. What also is beneficial is kind of this idea of this box. You probably see this box. So I wanted to show you how I made this box. Really what I did was I went up to Insert. So if I want to make a new box here just to show you. So I like boxes because it gives a space for the students to write and for the teacher to go and review and look at it. Kind of just keeps it in a nice sandbox. I go to Insert, and I would do a table, just a 1-by-1 table. And then you can see that it shows up like that. And that's as simple as it is. I will say that I do like to make it have a colored background, and it really doesn't do anything besides it kind of helps stand out. Maybe kids will get used to they have to do something in the gray box or the blue box or the green box. So to do that, you just right click and you go to table menus, table properties, excuse me, and then you're just going to do cell background color, and then you're going to pick a color. I could pick green, and then obviously they will do their typing in that area. So that's how to make a box, but I'm going to keep rolling through this document. All right, you can see that I'm asking them to respond in this area. Then I said I want them to watch a video, and I said, watch this video, pay close attention. I'm giving them some directives. I'm going to show you how to hyperlink this kind of in a better way. Right here, I always like to put how long the video is so people kind of understand. And you can see after they watch the video, I'm going to ask them to write if they agree or they do not agree with what they see. So if I just open YouTube, this is kind of how you want to embed a video so it doesn't look all, like a big giant long URL. Let's see. Maybe I want to embed this Beastie Boy video.
Writing's not that easy, but Grammarly can help.
All right.
This sentence is grammatically correct.
I'm going to skip that.
Went platinum after only 8 weeks. Right as the kill, right?
All right, so I'm going to grab this video. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to get the URL.
I got my stupid contacts in. Hold on.
All right. I'm going to get out of there. Okay, so I have a URL. So if I want to embed that video, I would just, of course, I could just paste that long video, but that kind of doesn't look awesome. Kind of looks not very, very beneficial. You can see over here, I did this, just click here. And that's one way to do it. You could also put a word such as Beastie Boy video. And I'm not sure how long it is, but I'll just kind of make that up for now, just for this sample. maybe I want to make this the hyperlink. Instead of just putting click here, I want to make this the hyperlink. So I'm going to go up and I'm going to insert a link. I go up to the top here, this little chain. I click on it and you can see it already says text Beastie Boy video. And now this is where I go and I paste that link like so. And you can see if you hover over this, you can kind of see, and I clicked, you can see my video is now embedded. So I think that's better than just doing that. All right. What I don't like about it, besides it's kind of ugly to look at, it doesn't, it doesn't say much. Like if I paste that link, it really, the students won't know, or really you won't know, you might not remember unless you put something after it. And of course it just starts getting kind of messy. So my favorite way to do it again is to do it this way. And you can just rewind anything you miss, you can just rewind and you can watch it later. So I'm going to keep rolling. So I'm asking him to watch the video. I'm going to clean that up, get rid of the thing. And then I have some more things for them to read. Just I have a definition of happiness. I want them to get a sense of what happiness is. So my lesson's continuing. This is kind of getting in more to my middle. This whole lesson, I would say, is probably about 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. You really want to consider doing your lessons a little smaller than in a classroom just because of the learning curve. Closer to half is a nice way to look at it. So I asked him to read the definition, and then I said, read the short blurb about happiness. And again, topically, they're going to read this. And then I also pair it with a poem by Ogden Nash. All right, and then I'm going to ask them, again, you can see the box. I'm going to ask them, explain how the blurb shows happiness. Explain how the poem shows happiness. Be specific. Of course, you want to go out of your way to have students be specific, because they like to just write as quickly as possible. So you want good directions. All right. And then just for this lesson, again, it's kind of a quick lesson. Kind of my ending is I want them to find 3 websites about happiness, and then I'm asking them to do 3 things for each one. Paste the URL, which is the website address, paste the title, and write an overview of the 3 sentence write an overview of 3 sentences for each. All right, and then of course I made the boxes. Now I could, if I were actually going to continue this lesson, I would probably start the next day with kind of leading in to an article maybe that I found, and I'd talk about it, and I would maybe do the thing that I asked them to do, and then that would maybe lead into them using the 3 articles, and maybe we're going to start working on kind of formulating a short response using evidence. So that's kind of beginning, middle, and end of a lesson, and you can see it's all housed in one place. And the reason I like that, although I will kind of start ending this, is the next one you'll see is I'm going to do the same lesson, but I'm going to put it in the format of Google Slides. That is by far my favorite way to do it, Google Slides, because I like the way it chunks and I like the way it looks visually. And the other thing you'll notice me talking about is, like right here, we're clicking on that video, but the problem is it's going to take them to YouTube, and once they go to YouTube, you know that there's, all kinds of things showing up on YouTube for them to click on and kind of go down the wormhole and get lost. So, you got to be careful. So I think I'm going to argue that I like probably Google Slides better. I do want to go over real quick though. So when you're done with this, you might say, well, now what do I do? Think of this as a master copy, kind of like your if you had a worksheet or something you're going to pass out to kids in a classroom. You want it to be all set up nicely. You want the spelling and everything, the directions to all be proper and prepared. So when you feel like you have this Google Doc set up for this lesson, you want to go over to your classroom. So I have a classroom here. All right. You can see that if I go to classwork and I want to assign this, I'm just going to do this real quickly. I want to do it as an assignment. Again, it's that lesson about happiness. So I would give it a title. Whoops. Maybe. And then I would put any instructions. I'm just going to type words in here. I would decide if I'm going to do it for more than one class. I would recommend doing it for one class at a time, because when I get to the Google Classroom, I'll show you, because once you do multiple classes, just so you know, and I know some yesterday were having some problems with this. For example, I said 3 classes. If I go up here, you'll notice schedule is grayed out. Well, that's because you can only do one class at a time to schedule. So now I just have it as the West Branch Middle School. If I go to the drop-down menu, now schedule's available. You really want to make sure that, first of all, you attach the assignment. So I'm going to go to add. I want to show you something real important. I'm going to go to Google Drive. I'm going to go to recent. I'm going to pull up. Oh, there it is. It's the first one. I'm going to pull up the thing we just worked on. This is so important. So pay attention in this next part. You want to make sure you pick the right thing. This says students can view file. Well, I want them to do more than view. Some people pick students can edit file. Be careful of that one, because if you pick this, all students will be on the same document, and we don't necessarily want that. We want for this assignment, for this lesson, I want everybody to have their own copy. So you want to make sure that you have it, make a copy for each student. So, and then you can go through obviously and set up everything else, including a due date. Maybe I'm going to have it due the 18th at 11:59. If you do want to schedule it, you click and say schedule, and then of course I just make a schedule for when I want to do it. I'm not going to actually do this. I just wanted to show you. So, okay, well, again, this is how to do a lesson from beginning, middle, and end. And again, we ended with using Google Classroom to roll that out to students, and it really makes it easy for collecting it. And I think you guys that are new to this are just going to really love this idea, and this is really going to continue to kickstart our one-to-one for middle school and high school. Okay, let me know if you have any questions.